What's going on, guys? As you can tell, it is another Saturday night for this ARCS Saturday Night Showdown Truck Series, and tonight the boys are live from Texas. That's right, Circuit of the Americas, COTA, as many mention it as, just Circuit of the Americas seems to take just an extra second to get out. Kurt Swatsworth, KS Gaming 51 is going to be live in the booth with me as always. Kurt, man, COTA, 20 turns around this mammoth road course in the mammoth state of Texas. How are you, bud?
Hey, Pete, I'm doing good. I've been kind of watching these guys go around a little bit here. I watched the truck race and a little bit of the Xfinity race today in real life, just to try to familiarize myself with these 20 turns we got to deal with tonight, or they have to deal with. We just get to, show their entertainment of trying to go around all these turns. But there's a couple guys that are really fast. I watched Dylan McDonald last night ran the 12-hour Sebring thing with a team, and they were really fast. He's one of them that was really fast in his group, so I'm kind of interested to see what he can do tonight at COTA. There's a few other drivers, as always, to watch. We've had multiple guys that are always towards the front, but road courses, super speedways, those are not ones you really expect to see a lot of the same guys always at front, because everybody's different.
Absolutely. Now looking at the track facts, it's going to be 72-degree temperature with a 73-degree track temp, so pretty close. And you look at that track map in the middle of your screen, and yeah, that is exactly what these guys are going to have to navigate all night long. It's gonna be absolutely phenomenal. Right now, you see the I believe it's gonna be the 29 for Byron Jones out there. That was the lap that we just watched him on. That was just his warm-up lap, coming out of the pits and getting going. So now Byron's gonna try to go ahead and put his real lap down now that he's got a little bit of heat in the tires. But let's actually bring up the top ticker for you. Kind of keep an eye on what's going on. Actually, no, scratch that. We won't bring up the ticker just yet. We'll bring up the tower. It's just a little bit easier to follow, and then we will see as they start to load in one by one.
Yeah, and if you didn't hear me earlier, I did say that I watched Dylan McDonald, correct?
Yeah.
Look who's at the top of the practice board. Dylan McDonald in that 38 Chevy sitting at the top right now.
Well, let's actually go ahead and bring up those practice times. That's a great idea. I said the practice times. There we go. Yes.
Oh, Jeremy Brolt just jumped to the front.
Yep. Actually, it's saying, let me make sure that I'm on the right page here. It's actually saying that at the end of it, Joshua Gaiman was the overall fastest. But if you look back to P number 2, Jeremy Brielt, that just took the pole so far, he was only
that's what I was talking about, was qualifying.
Yeah. Jeremy Brielt. He was P number 2 in practice with Toby Estes. There's Donald Ray, and Tom Sears made up your top 5. And so far, I mean, yeah, Jeremy Brielt, he's looking to go ahead and take it all. Gaiman, now that was fastest in practice. Fastest in practice. Now sitting in P number 2.
I'm looking at the times here. Briot, we saw him the last race there, and he was really fast. Didn't end up bringing that one home, but I think this could be a big showing here at 2:17.1 as a lap time. That's really fast in the trucks. Joshua Gaiman right behind him, though, in 2:17.264. And then it's a little bit of a fall off. Jacob Blankenship sitting back there with a 2:19.5. Cody Meadows down to a 2:20. All the way down to a 2:23 from Ryan Pinnell and Dustin Painter. Not a lot of guys have put down that qualifying lap, so I think you got a couple guys that were maybe a little hesitant to go out. They've still got a little bit of time, but if they're going to make a lap, Pete, they better get out there and get going.
Yeah, I believe that these guys have a total of 15 minutes to go ahead and run throughout their qualifying. So they could wait a little bit, but that window is, closing very, very fast. 2 minutes at a pop. So you're talking about 2.5 minutes at least, probably pretty close to 3 minutes for your warm-up lap. Then you've got your first lap, which is another 2 minutes, 20 seconds, give or take, and then your final lap. So yeah, you're talking about running what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 8 minutes in just your 3 laps. So you can burn a little bit, but you absolutely cannot wait. You can't wait too long.
Now, if you wait too long, you're going to come across and probably get your warm-up lap done, and then you're going to be really putting a burner down, and all of a sudden the times are going to run out, and you're just going to fall short of putting on a qualifying lap. So if you're going to run a qualifying lap, I would think those guys would be coming out of the pit lane now to get that warm-up lap down, because that out lap is going to be about a 250 around there to get around here from rolling start from the pit box, and then come all the way around to actually start that actual qualifying time. So if you want to put down that lap, you're going to see him out on track right now. And there's actually not that many on track right now, Pete.
No, there's really not. On board right now with Matt Kent, or I should say on board, but kind of got the blimp view for Matt Kent right now. He's sitting in P number 6, and that was, I believe, his first lap. But man, these hairpins make you really slow down. But Kurt, these guys were also talking a little bit as we're going to switch over to Donald Ray in the number 5 for home race for this guy. He's out of Rockwall, Texas. I forgot what I was just about to say, but yeah, right now Donald Ray, he's out there. He is P6. He is 2.5 seconds behind the leader. And I was talking to a couple people out there, Swats, and they were saying, they ran some practice, or they might have run in another league, and they felt pretty good about a 220 or whatever. And then they come in here, and a lot of people are running it much, much faster, such as you see that pole time, which still stands at 2:17.
Yeah, 220s, I mean, that's about what I would think I would see. 218, 219, that's not, I guess, out of the realm if you hit it perfectly. And you can get, some of these corners are really tricky with going downhill so far. I mean, there's a lot of different variations in elevation. So carrying that momentum downhill, not braking super hard to where you're sliding the tires and you're able to straighten out that corner, you can probably pick up a second or two doing that a few different corners in there. So I'm not surprised to see a 218, 219, 217 low, almost a 216. I mean, that's flying.
Yeah, that is absolutely flying. That is having your brake bias, that's having your wheel settings, that is having enough practice time to where you're really able to set yourself up around these 20 twist turns and corners. I mean, I haven't seen so many, rights and lefts since, Rocky versus Apollo Creed. And that was in Philly. We're in Texas. This is a whole lot bigger. See, you get that one.
You kind of gave it to me with saying Rocky.
I know. But yeah, only 13 people out there so far have taken time. And there's still a few more yet to go.
Yeah, I just heard some of the guys saying that there is no limit on fast repairs tonight. So,
oh wow,
that could open up some doors from some guys that maybe might want to take a little bit more of a risk than usual with only one fast repair. Now you have unlimited. So, making a mistake here and there, and then being able to fix the truck immediately with a caution coming out or something like that. I think they're doing corner cautions though, and not full course cautions, if I'm not mistaken, Pete. So you'd have to really jam up the road to have a full course caution. But yeah, I mean, you scrape the wall here, or ding up the front end, maybe pushing somebody on the restarts, getting into some of these corners. The first 3 or 4 corners on a restart, you're really going to have to watch, because these guys are going to be 2 wide. Some of them are going to be 3 wide. Some could even be 4 wide in some of the corners. And you're going to be able to push it a little bit with unlimited fast repairs.
Riding on board right now with Dylan McDonald. Actually went ahead and brought it in from the limp. blimp cam down to the cockpit view with Dylan. He was really fast in practice. Well, let's see how we can actually get it done on board with this machine. Really slow.
He's up to ninth right now. Yeah, that first hairpin during the truck race today, I watched Kyle Busch go through there, and he was down to like 45 miles an hour going through that corner. That corner is very sharp, and you carry so much speed down that front stretch, essentially, where you're going to start out in the race and stuff, right to that corner, and it's all out. Hit the brakes, get it slowed up, get shifted down. First lap of the race, the 22 of Self in the truck race actually locked up the rears and did a little bit of wheel hop and spun as if he was hit, but nobody had touched him. And he spun all the way into, I think it was Tanner Gray that got some damage in that in the real race. So wheel hop, really slamming all those brakes, getting them locked up, smoking the tires, flat spotting the tires, all of that can come into play tonight with these sharp corners. There's some, even that one that Dylan just did right there, that's also another sharp point in this track where you're going to be down to about 40 mile an hour, and then you pick it right back up to 140 going around the corners, then snaking it through. You're going to be pushing 170, I think, at the end of this one turn, 165. So that's a huge difference. And look, he dropped all the way to 40. So yep. 165 all the way to 40 miles an hour for one turn, Pete. That's insane.
Yeah, that's really slowing it up. And another thing that these guys have had to do, the admins chose to go ahead and disregard the amount of incident points instead of anybody being disqualified or whatever. As you see right there, he came off that corner, he got his right sides onto that launch area, and that actually counts as an off track for some reason. You can't get either your rights or your lefts all the way over without iRacing saying that was a form of a penalty. So they've gone ahead and done away with those, since it is part of, I would think it's part of the runoff. Not quite sure about you, but yeah, right there.
They used them in real life today, so.
Yep, absolutely. So they the admins said, don't worry about that runoff area and have at it.
And Dylan goes from 9th to.
Looks like he stayed 9th.
Stayed 9th.
Yep, so let's see.
I thought he ran a faster lap. I'm wondering if he didn't get counted for going off track at one point.
So far, it looks like that is all of the track information, or I'm sorry, the track action, except for Seth Wansing right now. He's the only driver out here on track in this number 9 Chevy Silverado out of Peculiar, Missouri. How peculiar is that?
I'm actually noticing his lap time, Pete. It says 2:25.91, and the guy starting in front of him in 8th ran a 2:27.05. So I'm not really sure how that works. the 2:25.91 should be in front of. That makes no sense to me, but well, no, Matt Kent ran a 4:36 his first lap. That's why.
There you go. All right, so let's go ahead and take that away. We're going to go ahead and show you the grid here. All right, so Swatch, you want to take us through 10th, please? Pretty please.
Sure. You got Jeremy Brolt in the Ford in the 74 machine starting on the pole tonight. I do believe you have a pole reward for that, Pete. Joshua Gaiman starting second in a Toyota in that 61. Toby Estes in the 78 starting third. Cody Meadows in the 88 starting a Toyota. Also, 3 Toyotas in the top 4, Pete. That's something we haven't seen in a while. Andrew Jamalin sitting in 5th in a Chevy. Jacob Blankenship in that 85 that we've seen so many times up in the front, starting 6th in the Ford. Donald Ray in that Chevy starting 7th. Matt Kent, who I just talked about, in 8th in a Chevy. Dylan McDonald in that 38 Chevy in 9th. And Byron Jones, your driver, Pete, starting 10th tonight.
Yeah, not bad. Byron was pretty leery about this track. He ran some practice, didn't feel like he got the track under him in that number 29 Patriot Esports machine. but good job for him. And then sitting in P number 11 in that number 49 blue oval Ford F-150 is going to be Dustin Painter. In 12th is going to be Kevin Feemster, another Ford. In P13, it's going to be the number 12 Ford for Ryan Pinnell. Briley Wright in a Toyota. His number 81 is going to be starting P14. In P15, the guy that we were just following out there on track in his number 9 Silverado, Seth Wansing. Jonathan Hohenbrink, he's going to be starting P16 in his number 20. He's got a number 14 Toyota right next to him. That's going to be Tom Sears starting P17. P18, the number 10 Silverado for Daniel Maddox. The 48 Silverado in P19 is going to be Tristan Catania. P20, Tommy Withers, another Chevy. Last row is going to show a little bit of a manufacturer battle, as well as Ben Choate in that 01 starting 21st, and Tom Andrews in a 24 Chevy starting P22. Kurt, they are rolling, and this is going to be a very, very interesting pace lap. It's going to take a moment.
Yeah, it's going to take about 2.5 minutes to roll around this thing on a pace lap. Not going above about, I think 45 is their speed here. 55, 65, 70. They pick up speed in the straightaways. All right. But I mean, even at that speed, they're still going to take about 2.5, possibly closer to 3 minutes. But I mean, I don't know who to pick from here, Pete. I'm seeing some familiar faces up here. Jeremy Bro up here, Toby Estes, Jacob Blankenship, Donald Ray, Matt Kent, Dylan McDonald, all in the top 10. Newcomer Byron in the field, sitting 10th. Tom Sears in the 14 that we normally see. He's back there in the 17th spot. Tristan Catania back there in 19th. Tommy Withers back there in 20th. I don't know who to go with, P. I want to say, just because I spent some time watching him last night, I'm going to pick him just to see if maybe he can do a little better. They wound up winning that race last night that I was watching on the YouTube video that they had up. But Dylan McDonald and his team actually came back from about 4th in that race and multi-class at Sebring and wound up winning their class. So I'm going to go with Dylan and see if he can make it 2 days in a row of pulling off a road course race win.
Well, speaking of pulling off, the pace car has gone ahead and pulled off 74 of just Jeremy Briel and Joshua Gaiman. They're going to go ahead and smash that loud pedal first. 74 got a little loose under throttle. Swats, we're green.
Yeah, they're going down that long straightaway that I was talking about. They climb uphill. They go right around this hairpin. Everybody's going to have to get through here clean. Then they go downhill, huge elevation change. Then they go through the S's, and they're going to make it out. A few of them made it out single file. Still some double file battling going on back there.
Yeah, I'm actually going
to really slow going through turn 1.
Going to go ahead and bring it to about halfway through. Donald Ray in this number 5. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the blimp view because there is track. There's action all over this track. I can't talk tonight, Swats. Jeez.
Right. Thomas Andrews in that 24, Pete, is way off pace. He's hovering only about 50, 60, 70 miles an hour through this entire course so far. I think he started on pit road, so I'm not really sure what's going on there, but he's just barely putting around on the track. But up front, Jeremy Brault still trying to battle off the 80 or the 61 of Joshua Gaiman and the 78 of Toby Estes. The Cody Meadows making a big move though.
Yeah,
look at the 78 and 88 going at it.
Yep, he's looks like he's to the outside, or as they say most of the time on road courses, he is to the right, not outside, not inside, just to the right. So they're going to go ahead and try to lock it up. As you see a guy just a couple spots back, I believe it's going to be Andrew in that number 65, really ran it to the inside. And as he tried to outbrake a couple, ended up locking him up and really didn't gain any spots, as now he's going to battle once again the number 5 for Donald Ray.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a good move. He might have flat spotted one of those tires. He definitely locked it up and gave a little contact to the guy that was trying to make the turn as he slid through there. But I know he thought maybe he'd make up a little bit of time on those guys, but locking them up definitely doesn't help. You have no steering whatsoever once it's locked up.
No, you really don't. That's one thing that you learn very, very early, whether it's back on console days or here on iRacing. You have to do all of your braking while you're still going straight, because if you try to brake and turn, if you lock them up, all you're going to do is slide them, and around a 20 course turn like this, 20 turn course like this, there it is again. That goes to teach everybody out there a lesson. Do not take a nap before it's race time, because you will not be able to complete a thought.
Yeah, Pete, I'm staying on the exciting camera right now, and it's definitely rotating through. I mean, there's action all over the place, but it keeps hovering right there with Toby Espy's, Joshua Gaiman, and Cody Meadows. All four of them, and Blankenship, who's sitting just off of these three, keep battling it out. There for a little bit there, it was one on the inside of the other, then it was on the outside of the other one, and they were kind of just swapping back and forth, but they've kind of settled down where now Gaiman's back out in second, trying to chase down Jeremy Breault, who's gotten out to almost a second lead on some of these guys.
Yeah, Jeremy, he's definitely up there a bit. I'm trying to, let's see, let's actually take a look at his last lap time. As soon as I can get this to cooperate, there we go. Last time around for him was a 2:16.52. Gaiman, sitting in P number 2, was a 2:17.48. So a clear second faster.
Yeah, I'm keeping track of the sectors, is what I'm looking at, and I'm like I said, I've got on the exciting camera, so it keeps flip-flopping all over the place, looking for excitement on the track. But right now it's sitting on Gaiman and Estes again, and it's looking at their sector 1, 2, and 3 timings, and all 5 of them are almost running identical times through there.
Absolutely. 2:17.4, 2:18.1, 2:18.8, 2:19.3. 100% right. From second through fifth, extremely, extremely tight. The only one that clearly knows, this track, and I'm gonna guess by the back of his hand, or just like the back of his hand, is that 74 of Breault. He actually just bested his personal lap time, 2:16.52.
Yeah, these 5 out front have dusted away from the rest of the group here. They're pushing 10 seconds over the rest of the field already in some sectors. When they go through the corners, they're actually getting out to about a 10-second lead over the next driver. So these guys are definitely moving through the field or the track, and it could be a 5-horse race here. I think some of these guys that are a little bit maybe more veteran status might be thinking conserve tire for the long run, but at this pace, I don't know if conserving tire can really help you make up time like these guys are getting.
Well, like you just said, the top 5 have pretty much pulled away right now, riding with the 31 of Matt Kent, sitting in P number 6. He's got Byron Jones, Donald Ray, Andrew Jamalin, and Kevin Feemster. You can see.
Breault locks it up.
What's that?
Breault locked it up going into the corner. Gaiman and Estes got underneath him, but Breault was able to power out of the corner and got back out in front of him. But that was almost an issue with the front 3.
Yeah, that definitely brought them all closer. You see this number 74 Ford F-150 for Jeremy Breault. He's really got to whoa it up and slow it up. Joshua Gaiman really able to get very, very close to that back panel. And top 3 right now, you'd almost, by how close they are, Swats, you'd almost think that they're drafting here at Texas.
Yeah, these guys, I mean, it says, Texas' slogan is always, it's bigger in Texas, and COTA's no joke, 20 turns. I mean, we're used to seeing NASCAR tracks of 13, 11, what's Sonoma, 15, 16? COTA's, I mean, that's a whole nother level, 20 turns, and it's a very long track. If you have an opportunity to pull up that track map, Pete, it's huge. This is an Indy track, or this is an F1, Indy kind of style track where it's huge. It's like going to Europe and running some of those courses over there.
Yeah, that was a great suggestion. Went ahead and pulled up the track map. and you can see just how big and how many turns, rights, lefts, the S's, which I believe there's just the one main S, but some of those turns, they're not like a Sonoma or the S's at Watkins Glen. Some of those S's are actually pretty sharp.
Yeah, you got boomerangs, you got switchbacks, you got you got S turns, you got straightaways, you got a carousel looking turn. It's Watkins Glen and Sonoma combined is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, let's see. Here's on board with Andrew Jamalin. He's sitting right now in P number 7, and he actually just went through the portion of the track that you said was kind of like a carousel. Let's see. It looks like the next person to go through there is back in 18th. That's Ben Show. No! Got a little... Wow, he is absolutely putting those tires up in the air. Oh, man, he's going to go ahead and loop it, but he's off in the grass. It doesn't look like he's going to affect traffic whatsoever. Very unfortunate for Ben back here. Let's move up with Tommy Withers. He is one spot ahead.
Actually, right after this big S, right off to the start. It's where Briol and them are about to come into. They go through these winding... I don't want to say S, but I mean, it's kind of like a big giant Z is what it looks like if you're on the blimp view. But once they come out of the bottom of the Z and they come around this corner right here, this is the carousel that I'm talking about, where it's just a long carousel. I mean, it goes all the way around as these guys roll all the way around to the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, they loop. It's a giant U.
Yeah, you're 100% right. That is a very large U.
All the large carousel and the small carousel on the backside.
Yeah. And we're talking about Whataburger all the way going through there.
Don't get me going with Whataburger. I crave Whataburger all the time. I used to live in Texas for multiple years. I got my wife to try it in an airport in Dallas, and she was not a fan, but I told her, I said, it's an airport burger. It's not, real. But we're supposed to wind up going to Texas this fall, so hopefully I can convince her to go to Whataburger again, or at least stop and let me get one.
Hey, that... For anybody out there that doesn't know, Whataburger is actually owned by Mark Wahlberg and his brother Donnie and his their entire family. So yeah, pretty cool. Stratus, what's up out there in chat? How are you? Dale Fan 8 saying good luck number 29, talking about the 29 for Byron Jones. Byron is actually up 4 spots, started in P10, right now sitting in P number 6, and he's got a little bit of a challenge here from the 65, Matt Kent. Or, I'm sorry, Andrew Jamalin.
Pete, I think you threw me off there. Did you say the Whataburger was owned by the Wahlbergs?
Yeah, Whataburger, yeah.
No, that's Wahlburgers.
Am I thinking? You're right. I'm thinking something very similar, but completely different. Yeah, you're
that's
right.
why I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, I know I've eaten
Wahlburgers
a
and Whataburgers. I that should be illegal. No,
like
you're 100% right. Right, Wahlburgers.
I've been eating a Wahlburger this whole time. But no, I definitely want to take a trip up north to Boston and try to get a Whataburger and stop in there. But Whataburger actually in Texas is one of my favorite stops. I ate there a lot, so I'm a fat kid, so burgers and nice fries and things like that definitely are an interest for me. And there's also another group or restaurant there, Chicken Express. It's another favorite of mine. I don't catch it a lot of different places on the East Coast, but Chicken Express in Texas, gallon of sweet tea. I mean, it's no joke. That's why so many people are bigger in Texas.
Is that kind of like a Checkers or a Popeyes or what is that?
It's its own little group.
Okay.
It's a different taste in chicken. I don't know how to describe it. That and Church's chicken. I don't know if you ever had a Church's chicken, but Church's chicken, the way that they do their chicken tenders, and then the white sauce, or I guess you guys call it like that white cream sauce you put on like a chicken steak or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, that gravy or whatever. Yeah, Church's chicken has the chicken tenders and that white gravy as their side for the sauce, and you dip it in that, and it's amazing. But Chicken Express, I definitely enjoy that.
Not too bad.
Now that I'm back to thinking about food and I can get off that real quick, these guys are definitely going through. The leaders actually, now it's the top 4. They got spread out there. I mean, they're all over the back bumper of Briault. Joshua Gaiman was right there. I mean, he was at the bumper of Briault. He could have given him a little bit of a shot to maybe get around him. He tried to look out around Briault, but that one corner, he tried it. It's not a good corner to try. You got to lay on the brakes a little bit harder, and Briault was able to power out of there with the position.
Whoa.
Now, Gaiman made the turn. He may be able to get underneath Briault here as they go through the little kink.
Wow, and they made that kink work. The 88 was able to get to the inside of the 74. They're going to go side by side, both of them locking it up at the same time. Here comes the 78 of Toby Estes. He's going to try to get in this mix as well. 88, 78, 61, and 74. This top four has absolutely broken away from the rest of the field. They're going to go ahead and slow it up right here, get into this sharp left-hander. Everybody else just now got into the straightaway that they raced all the way down. So this top four absolutely shows they know COTA very well.
A new leader in Gaiman. I thought he was going to give it right back to Briault there as he crossed him over, but Gaiman was able to hold him off going through that Z is what I want to call it, or weird crooked 2. I don't know what to call that, but yeah, he was able to hold off Briault there. Briault's been leading all these laps, so 6 out of the first 29 laps led by Briault. Gaiman takes over now. Briault's going to have to stay behind Gaiman and kind of learn to see what Gaiman was doing, see how he was making up ground. This is where I was talking about the tires. You know, Briault was really pushing and just going all out, and the rest of these guys were kind of staying with him, so I don't know if they were maybe using their tires as hard as Briault to try to, stay with Briault, but I don't know. Briault made a little bit of a mistake there and got a little bit sideways. He really threw that rear end out to the side, and Gaiman capitalized by ducking underneath him coming out of that corner, and then drag raced him all the way down to the sharp, what is that, 100-degree turn back?
Pretty much. Just went through the top four, and riding along with the 88 for Cody Meadows. He's actually out of Martinsville, Virginia. Swat's just 2 to 3 hours away from us, and that top four, they continue to pull away. We're going to go ahead and get back with a fight that's going on right here between 5th and 6th. As you see, the 65 go around. Now, I'm not sure if that was off the front bumper of... Who was that just then? I'm not sure if that was off of the front bumper of that number 31 Pepsi Silverado. As you see, the 29 Byron Jones work his way up to P5, up 5 spots right now. Or what that was, but that was definitely a bit interesting.
I'm trying to look back. It looks like the blue or red, white, and blue truck there. He hopped the turtle and clipped white truck. So that's why the white truck went spinning through that corner there. The 65 of Andrew Jamal got turned. I want to say that was that Kent?
Yep, Matt Kent riding on board right now in that Pepsi machine. We talked about this truck. Was it last week or the week before? How nice of a job he did on this number 31. And old Matt Boone would be pretty proud of him.
Actually, Matt Boone would not be proud because he is not a Pepsi fan. He is a Coke fan. Actually, who will have in the booth Monday night, Zach Meredith would be proud in the Pepsi family there. But speaking of Martinsville, since you were talking about it, we go there tomorrow night for Turn Down for What in the truck. So we're going from a giant road course to a little bitty paperclip up in Virginia and Martinsville tomorrow night.
Phenomenal cosmic power. Itty bitty little space.
You got it. Good job.
There we go. Mustang 9980 is asking, Swats, what's the hardest race in the world to win? Ooh.
Any of them for me. I have not had any luck on iRacing. I seem to always find wherever the accident's going to be, I'm usually running into the back of it or just getting caught up in it. I mean, from a driver's perspective, listening to a lot of the NASCAR guys, I don't know. Hardest place to. I would say it's probably a super speedway actually, because there's only a handful of guys over the last several years that've won super speedways that you can even think of actually being a front runner in a super speedway. I mean, look at the last couple years on who's won super speedways. It's not guys that you were immediately thinking of as being a guy who would be at the front. So those are always tricky and dangerous road courses. I mean, if you're not a road course racer, if you're not, AJ Allmendinger, if you're not Chase Elliott, if you're not Kyle Busch, Martin Truex, those guys pretty much dominate when it comes to road courses. So that's kind of a toss-up between those two. The rest of them, the cookie cutters, I mean, there's a bunch of guys that are really good. And this next-gen car is really throwing some teams for a loop, especially that 6 car that keeps getting penalized for messing with his parts. But
yeah. Not lying.
Yeah, before the 6th gen, I mean, you could always count of Harvick, being really good at certain tracks, the Harvick line. Super speedways, you could always count Logano, Brad Keselowski, Dale Jr., all those guys you just really knew they were going to be there. Now it's a toss-up. I mean, Michael McDowell winning a super speedway race.
Yep.
Who could have guessed that one? Justin Haley coming in and getting his first win in his Cup career before he was even a full-time Cup driver, pulling off a win.
Wow.
Due to lightning, really, because Kurt Busch should have won that race because they threw the caution and then pulled the caution lights, and he thought, all right, I'm going to go down pit road, and then they threw the caution lights on again. So kind of pulled him out of that one. And then, I mean, obviously, the guy I really I'm not a fan of, just don't really like him, but Bubba Wallace wins the super speedway last season.
Yep.
I mean, it's pretty much a toss-up. So Indy, F1, those ones, I mean, you could throw any one of those European tracks out there, and I'm sure they're extremely hard to win. I don't know. NASCAR-wise, though, I would probably say super speedways, and then probably throwing in COTA. Watkins Glen, those ones, we see the typical guys out there, but this track here throws a lot of loops. I said this was a combination, in my opinion, of Watkins Glen and Sonoma. If you look at the course layout, there are so many different turns that seem to replicate those two tracks alone.
But man, I tell you what, while you were talking, I was really keeping an eye on this number 88. He had a great fight going on with Toby Estes in this number 78. And I tell you what, Cody Meadows was absolutely throwing this Menards Tundra around. I mean, he was slideways coming through many, many corners, and he was able to make it absolutely stick. If there was a Cool Hand Luke driver award, which I might actually go ahead and make something up for that. I kind of like that. Meadows would absolutely get it. He has been wheeling and dealing this number 88 around COTA. Great job by him. I mean, he's thrown this Toyota into several corners.
Yeah, I would like to mention that Toyota does run 4 of the top 5 spots currently, Pete.
You got that right.
Toyota, so,
yep.
That's something we haven't seen a lot actually at the other tracks, the 1.5 miles so far and the super speedways. We don't see a lot of Toyotas up front. And tonight, I mean, it's 1, 2, 3 Toyota. So you could be looking right now at a podium that is all 3 Toyota drivers.
Yeah, Joshua Gaiman, Toby Estes, and Cody Meadows are your top 3, and Byron Jones right now is the highest running Chevrolet. And then, as you said, Tom Sears in this number 14 ARCS machine right behind him. Unfortunately, in the running order, it doesn't actually show the Toyota logo because of the update to all that. But that's all right. Let's go ahead and switch that up and show you the gap one more time. 20 laps to go. Guys and gals, if you want to know how to get involved in ARCS, they're still somewhat early in their season. I think this is only their 5th race so far. Look them up on Twitter. Their Twitter handle is right there under their now caution. I'm not sure if it's local caution or if that's an all-track.
It's an all-track one. Blankenship spun out around turn 1.
All right.
And that's when the caution came out. But I don't think it should have been thrown because he did a 360 in the grass and then kept on going. So
All right. Well, let's see. You said Blankenship.
yeah, you're gonna go up to about 24,
Yeah,
15,
yep,
52. Jacob.
there he is. There he is. Gotcha. All right. All the way off. Let's see here.
I don't see anything else on track, so that's the only thing I see before the yellow comes out. Unless they had a plan. I didn't hear anything about that, but that's 10 laps in. I don't think did they have a plan to was that a stage break?
Yes. That's right. I forget. The top 10 in ARCS get stage points. Yep. Thank you very much
That's why a couple
for.
guys did come down pit road there. I was wondering why. I saw the
That's right.
31 of Matt Kent duck down last lap, and I wasn't sure why he had ducked down, but that's a top 4 point standings driver, so he's given up the points. He was sitting fourth, I think, when he ducked down pit road. So giving up the points for the stage break and getting those fresh tires and should be the leader if the rest of the field pits.
There you go. So 88 sitting right now in P3. Joshua Gaiman and Toby Estes in front of him. Again, Cody Meadows. I'm sorry. No, that's right. I forgot. We mentioned Byron Jones had made his way up to P number 4, and then Tom Sears in P number 5. Let's go ahead and take an overhead look since they're all kind of grouping back up. Swats.
Yeah, I'm even seeing Jeremy Briault pitted, Matt Kent pitted, Donald Ray pitted, Dylan McDonald pitted, Dustin Painter pitted, Ben Choate pitted, and Briley Wright pitted. The rest of the field did not pit before that caution came out. So that's where a lot of the guys that were up front there, I mean, Jeremy Briault was battling as the leader for 6 laps into the race. And then those last 4, he was sitting second and still ducked down pit road to go and get fuel and tires to come out back up front.
Yep, back up front. Looks like, I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier, 22 trucks making up this ARCS Saturday Night Showdown Truck Series race live from COTA. Again, I am Repeat, along with the one and only KS Gaming 51. A lot of y'all may know him as SWAT from back in the day, and also on his own channel, talking about a little bit about it earlier. The Turndown for What Truck Series will be live from Martinsville tomorrow night. Make sure you go on over and give old Swats a follow on his channel. Again, it's KS Gaming 51. Actually, you know, I'll go ahead and I'll put that out here in the chat for you.
Appreciate that, Pete.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're going Martinsville tomorrow night, and then HTL kicks off their season Monday night at Daytona. They did their dual races, and our good buddy Corey Kobe wound up finishing second in that duel. So he'll be starting up there in the front row. Matt Boone's in there, Shad Swadsworth's in there. A couple of the guys I'll know are going to be in there. Dylan McDonald's one of them. I can't remember if there's anybody else from this league that's in there. I know Dylan's in there. I want to say it might be Catania, but I know Dylan's in there. And Dylan was really fast too. He's actually, I got sent a graphic from the league owner, and Dylan's actually the top driver to be looking out for the first race of the season. He's a top dog, I guess, for driving, for being watchful driver is what they're saying.
Nice. All right. Well, Dylan McDonald right now sitting back here in P15 in his number 38 Silverado. Let's actually go ahead and take a closer look at that truck. Let's say Sherry Strong. Maybe if Dylan ends up in the booth a little bit later on, maybe we could find out exactly what hashtag Sherry Strong is.
Pretty sure that's is that Martin Truex's long-time girlfriend?
Might be SHERRY.
Is it spelled differently? Yeah, I'm not sure how it's spelled.
You know what? Because it sounds like it's something important. Yeah, let me see. It's gonna be Dylan McDonald. Let's see if we can't actually find Dylan.
I'm gonna grab a drink real quick
and pull him into the booth here. see if we can find him. No, doesn't look like he is in any of these channels. All right, so unfortunately, I won't be able to pull the 38. But if he should happen to end up in the top 3, we will be able to pull him and find out exactly what that's all about. Definitely sounds like a worthwhile question. All right, let's go ahead and bring it on back to the front one more time. Jeremy Briel, again, leading Joshua Gaiman in that number 61. 31 of Matt Kent. Toby Estes, P4. Tom Sears in P5. Byron Jones, P6. Andrew Jamalin in P number 7. P8. Cody Meadows, P9. Donald Ray. And P10, Jacob Blankenship. That's what the field looks like from P10 up as others continue to roll on by.
There's a bunch of guys that just came down pit road, Pete, earlier, and now they're back in pit road again. I think they're just doing fuel top-offs. I don't think they can make it from here, that's for sure. I mean, that's 18 laps. I don't think they can make it. That's a long run. Even the truck race today was, I think, 12, 15, or 12, 14, and 16, I think was their lap totals for the 3 stages. So, yeah, I don't think they can drive 18 laps, even clutching it around this track. I don't think you can do it. So they might be trying to stretch it as far as they possibly can, and then having to come in and grab only the amount of fuel that they need. That could be a possibility there. That's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, yeah, like you said, when they get the green, when this Porsche pace car pulls off the track, 18 laps to go plus this pace lap, and you're talking about clutching it, Swats. They'd be wearing out that clutch pedal or that button if they've got that mapped on the wheel, as they're quite capable of. But man, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, I am not a big fan of clutching. It's too much going on trying to make sure you do it. With the trucks and the Xfinity and the 6th gen, if you have a shifter, you can throw it in neutral. The next gens, you can't. So, I mean, you have to either have a clutch set of pedals or, like you said, establish a clutch button on your wheel, which I don't think I could sit there and mash the button while trying to steer and do everything else with my fingers and my hands. Putting your foot on the clutch, I think that's a little different. It's not something I'd be used to. They'd have to practice that.
Yeah, it's that again, it's a lot of work because you're not only getting it into. Wow, I'm just watching these guys come through the S's. 5 and one more off track, a little bit further in the back. I believe that was a battle right there for about P number 5 and P6, but they went off into a spin-off area. No caution should come out. We're going to stay green, Swats.
That was kind of weird.
Yep.
I'm kind of surprised on that one, but I mean, we're going back to green. I think Briault, Gaiman, Estes, Kent. I mean, these are guys that have been up here at the front. They're going to be guys used to being up here in the front. I think I think one of these 4 is probably going to be where our winner is going to come from tonight, Pete.
Yeah, it's absolutely possible. So you got the top 3. You got Briault, Gaiman, and Estes, like you just mentioned, and then it's Kent, Sears, and Jones in another group of 3, and then Jacob Blankenship in this 85. He's got Cody Meadows in that number 88, which we were watching him throw that truck around earlier, sitting right as I just mentioned in P number 8. Seth Wansing in this number 9, sitting P9, and then Dustin Painter to round out your top 10. One truck all the way off track up in that gravel trap, if that's actually what it is here on iRacing. Either that or it's got to be gravel trap because of the tracks in the pits.
Yeah, the 10 truck back there of I believe that's Daniel Maddox. He's trying to make up time to try to catch this field before they go green, but I have a feeling they might catch him before he catches them the way that he's coming through this field. The 65 there, I think, is who you said was in the sand trap back there. He's able to get going now. He's in the giant carousel. Try to catch the end of the field before they go green as we're on the front stretch now, Pete.
Yeah, 65 able to get on by the 48 truck of Tristan Catania. Tristan was smoking a bit and just let the 65 go. It looks like Tristan might be calling it quits, and it looks like 65 is going to come on down pit road as well. So both of these guys having some issues. On the back of that 65, it says, "Sponsor me, please." Hey, everybody's gotta make it somehow, right, Swats? All right, let's go ahead and bring it back up front in this.
I like the paint scheme, though, the Brielle paint scheme, that Midwest.
Yeah.
I believe you have a sponsor to talk about, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's who the entire series is about. It's the Midwest Barbecue series, and I tell you what, Swats, this company is all about the hardware that they lease, rent, and sell. If you're into smoking different kinds of meats, or you're going to a track or something like that, you've got a truck. I've got a truck. You attach one of these smokers onto your hitch, and you pull it right along with you, and their equipment is amazing. I believe it's mwbbq.com, and all kinds of different pieces of equipment. And yes, they are the title sponsor of this truck series, right along Chicks and Honey. Swats, you know a little bit more about Instagram. What's Chicks and Honey about?
Yeah, they actually go out and they try to build stuff at home for those people that like to homestead or DIY kind of stuff, where they just show you how to build things that can help you around the house, the yard, things that people who got the green thumb and they want to get out there and they want to put different gardens up, or they want to I just say it, the honeydew list. If the wife wants to go out and wants to watch that Instagram, she can try to find different things. I know your wife made you a list after you gave her the information,
Lord.
and probably regret giving her that information.
Yeah. It was actually right after going out and doing a bunch of yard work. So of course, here comes, the temperatures got warmer. Here comes let's build a garden right here. And yeah, the Chicks and Honey Instagram page is all about being self-sufficient and self-sustaining on your own property. Whether it's meats, dairy, from different livestock, how to do it all for yourself without having to go out and buy everything to run your house, run a homestead. So go on over to Instagram, Chicks and Honey, all kinds of great ideas. Back to this top three. This 74 Midwest Ford F-150 not letting up. He's got three Toyotas right in his rear view. Joshua Gaiman, Toby Estes, and Tom Sears. Then Matt Kent in a Chevy. Jacob Blankenship in a Ford. Seth Wansing in a Chevy. Cody Meadows in a Toyota. Dustin Painter in a Ford. And Kevin Feemster also in the Ford. Looks like Byron Jones, that was up to about P4, P5 before that caution came out, now finds himself back in P11, down one spot from where he qualified.
His front three is broken away again, and I mean they're pretty far out. They've got 4.5 seconds over the next guy, then 7 seconds, then 9 seconds, and then all the way back to 40 seconds. But newcomer Tom Sears up here in the 14. He's trying to get to the top three here. That's been the top three all night. Brault, Gaiman, Estes, all three just been the class of the field. The only one's missing that was up here earlier, Pete, is Cody Meadows, who did pit and fell off there. So he's back in 8th trying to get back through the field, but it's a long way to them. He's 14 seconds back from Brault right now.
Yeah, long road to hoe, as they say. And, just watching him through that last turn, you can see exactly what I was talking about. You watching this guy, I tell you, Swats, he is amazing at hustling this 88 truck around every single one of these corners. I mean, he just gets that back end to follow through. He's got to have so much counter steer in that 88. You know what? I think I'm actually going to jump on board with him right now and watch him around some of these corners. He's hustling this truck.
Yeah,
Nope,
I'm actually on far chase right now for Brielle, and he's got the if you notice when he comes off there, like you're saying, you can see the truck just whipping, and you can see how it just starts to slide, and he corrects it and gets it going back the other direction before it slides out away from him, and he loses control of it. He just gets it just to slide just enough to whip it and get going through the corner. And he's doing it better than anybody else tonight. Gaiman and Estes are the only two other ones that are, doing it as close as possible to he. And they're sticking right there at 7/10.
You just watching this guy work behind the wheel, just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, we watched him off that last turn, and he had that wheel pegged all the way to the right while the truck was still going left. Swats,
I wish we could see the pedals.
Right.
I wish the pedals actually reacted the same way when you were driving your sim rig and you have, a set of pedals and you're sitting there pushing the gas and the brake. I wish within iRacing it registered those inputs on the actual feet in the car. I mean, it does for the hands. I don't know why they can't just add in a feet, code to be able to replicate your feet pedal or your pedal movement. It'd be really cool to see iRacing do that, because I think that view on these road courses, that's some of the best, the coolest action to watch, in real NASCAR. So like when you see them go to the road course and stuff, when they put that camera on Chase Elliott's toes and you see him just pumping his feet all over the place and having to clutch and move, and I mean, it's insane the workout that they're doing on those tracks. And this is a 20 turn track compared to 13, 11, 16. This is the biggest I've seen. I don't think any other track's bigger for NASCAR right now.
No, I don't think so either. I think COTA is the biggest. I mean, if we're talking about other road courses that are huge, that maybe not just NASCAR, I mean, you got to think about a place like Nürburgring or something like that over in Germany. But that place is huge.
That's what I was saying before. You could take this track and throw it over in Europe, and it would probably be right there with those big tracks like that. I mean, this is technically not a NASCAR track. This is the first year they brought COTA in, or last year was the first year they brought COTA in. So, I mean, it's an Indy Formula One style track, and you could literally take this track from Texas and Austin, and they built a great facility here. You can see it on the blimp images, some of the outer stuff that's going on. And there's all kinds of extra turns and cutoffs and all kinds of stuff. But you could literally take this track and throw it out in France and say, go run it in an Indy car or a Formula One car, and it's doable for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean this track and it's not there. There's some spots that are very, very narrow, but there's some spots that are wide open as well. Speaking about wide open, that 88, I'm sorry,
going for it.
Yep, going for it. It's not the. What?
It's the 61 of Gaiman. Him and the other 88.
Okay, I knew I wasn't
Meadows
going
are running
crazy.
identical paint schemes. I think Gaiman's actually says Slim Jims on the hood instead of Gaiman's regular one.
All right.
Sorry, Meadows' regular one.
So I'm not going crazy, is what you're saying?
Actually, nope. Sorry, both of them are identical. Slim Jims on the hood. You are not going crazy, Pete.
All right.
I normally would tell you are going crazy, but I'll let you slide on this one, and it might be still out for judgment later on. I don't think I'm the only one that can give that answer. We might have to get Beck on here to see if she can give us an answer.
I was just about to say the same thing. If I go downstairs, Beck tells me you are loud when you're on the mic, and you know what? She's not lying. I am loud. I actually, in the last or the closing season of NNR, when we were still on console, I later found out that I actually had a nickname of the Hype Man. I did not know that. But you know what, Swats, these guys, and you for many years, you bring all the energy on the track. I got to kind of convey that somehow. I get excited about these races and about everything that I see. So I'm not just loud for show. I'm it's just the way I am. It's the way my DNA is hardwired to racing, and I'm glad that you're here with me to share it all, buddy.
It's very hard to emulate. I will say that for sure. But yeah, being back in NNR, watching the replay of the stream, or even having the stream up during the race and listening to you, hyping up certain parts of the race or certain drivers, and it was just that was the feeling that you got in the driver's seat listening to you. So you gave us energy. We try to put it on the track to give you something to talk about, and you just blew us out the water every single time with the energy that you threw into a stream. A lot of times by yourself too. So I major props to you and commendment for being able to do all the things you do. And I try to emulate you. I try to emulate so many others that I've seen from console days now over here in iRacing, and trying to all stay pushing forward as a group. You, Rick, Atlanta, Frozen, Terry, Expert. There's so many that have just pushed forward with broadcasting over to iRacing and just kept going. So it's a huge honor to always be in the booth with you. Love being in the booth with you here at ARCS, and love having you in the booth with me on Sundays. Like I said, I love being in the booth anytime you're in it.
Tomorrow night we're gonna tomorrow we're gonna go, or we're gonna have to switch gears, I guess you could say, from this huge 20-turn track to a half-mile paperclip Martinsville Speedway for the Turn Down for What series. It's gonna look like they just got thrown in a sardine can compared to this place. We're not going to be able to control ourselves with that kind of action. I can't wait. We've got 12 laps to go here tonight. You're not missing anything up front. Joshua Gaiman, still the leader. P number 2, Jeremy Brialt. P number 3, Toby Estes. Tom Sears still trying to catch up with these guys. Jacob Blankenship sitting right now in P number 5, doing his best to run them down. Back here, Matt Kent in this PepsiCo machine with the other 88 of Cody Meadows. Oh, it looks like Cody, he was able to go ahead and get that thing to loop around without really causing any kind of an issue. Great job by him to not collect anybody else, including the oncoming number 29 Chevy Silverado for Byron Jones. So move him up to P8. Cody Meadows back to P9. P10, Dustin Painter. Swats, that just goes to show that this field is so separated up front. Maybe not the top 3, but the rest of these guys, the 88 of Meadows was just able to loop that thing and only lose 1 spot. If we were at another track like a Martinsville, if he didn't collect anybody else, he would have easily lost a good 10 to 12 spots.
Yeah, for sure. Going to Martinsville, I usually say Bristol is a blender. Martinsville is not far off. Same with Richmond. All 3 of those tracks, they're so small. Obviously this year we had the Coliseum, which is even smaller. But going into Martinsville compared to here, Meadows looped it in the same spot that Blankenship looped it earlier when I thought that was what brought out the caution, but it was actually the end of the stage. And both of them were able to loop it right there, 360 in the grass, and keep on going, and didn't get very much damage and didn't cause any other issues. And we are so single filed out that, he looped it, did a 360, spun around, came back on track, and kept on going, and just lost the 1 spot to Byron. Didn't lose a whole lot of time, really. Just that little section, he might have lost an extra 5 seconds, but I think Cody's problem is he's trying to push it. He was that top 4 car battling with Brialt, Estes, and Gaiman, and he had a long pit stop, didn't get really back through the field, and got stuck back here. And I think he's pushing it, trying to catch up. And he's 28 seconds back from the leader as of right now. It's going to be almost impossible for him to catch the leaders unless a full course caution comes out, which, unless they're planning on throwing another stage here, I don't think it's going to happen. But I think he's pretty much going to have to settle for about 7th or maybe 5th. He could catch 5th. But yeah, I mean, it's so spread out here that it definitely makes it hard to obviously make passes and catch people. But it also gives you the benefit if you do make that mistake. And we didn't see him make too many mistakes earlier at the front with racing against those other three so hard.
No, we really didn't. And even though he looped it right there are so many times that this 88 could have gone for a loop, and he was able to save it. Especially right here, going through these S's, hitting these I don't know if you want to call them turtles, like what we'd see at the Roval or some of these other tracks, but he has hit so many of those and almost lost it. And he continues to hustle this number 88 Toyota around. I'm not a big Toyota TRD fan, but man, he's making me a fan tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if I would call it a turtle, maybe a snapping turtle, because that thing is huge compared to the turtles we see at Charlotte and stuff like that. But this thing, I mean, whoa! Estes just smoked it into that turn and almost took out Briault. Was able to clear Briault. Briault crossed him right back over, but Estes is hanging side by side as they're going through that odd shape too. Briault's able to clear him again, but that was close. He smoked it going into that corner, smoked all four tires, and slid right in front of Briault as he was making his turn in.
Well, so that's a change for P number 2 right now. Jacob Blankenship wasn't able to really gain any time. He's still got the 14 of Tommy Sears sitting right behind him. Matt Kent in that 31 PepsiCo machine a little bit further back with the 9 of Seth Wansing right up his tailpipe. And then Byron Jones sitting in P number 8. Again. All right, let's get up there.
Oh, he clears it. He smoked it a little bit, gave a little bit of a tap to Briault with his right fender. I don't know if Briault was too happy about that. He might have gotten a little bit of left front damage from that, but Estes was able to clear him going into that corner, and now he's in second place on the hunt for Joshua Gaiman. But I don't think Briault's too happy, so I don't think he's going to let Estes get away from him too fast here.
No, I mean any time. Well, we're talking about a road course. You can, if you're faster, if you're being held up or something like that, sometimes you got to give a little nudge to get it going. Kind of like the old country song, you got to kick a little. Well, sometimes you might just have to kick a little to get somebody out of your way so you can run on up. And if the 78 is faster, he might be able to pull that 74 Midwest Ford F-150 back up towards the leader, looking at Joshua Gaiman, and then we're going to try to look back from him. That is the gap that's right there from first to second and second to third. And that 78, he's closing up just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't give him a tap going into the corner. He smoked it in there, late brake checked, and locked him, and kind of used Briault as a stopping point to turn his truck. That's where I'm like, eh. I mean, I know it's late in the race. We've got 9 laps left. He might think he's faster than Briault and wants to really get to game, or wants to try to get to Gaiman. He's getting it down to about 7/10 in some of these short corners. But then Gaiman stretches it back out to about a second and a half, and then Estes closes it back down to 7/10. He's not really gaining a whole lot. And looking at their lap times, Gaiman's the fastest on track right now, besides Cody Meadows back there running a 2:21. But at the front, it's Gaiman by almost 4/10.
Yeah, Gaiman continues to do very, very well. Just about a second and a half now over that 78. Swats, we just hit 10 laps to go. We talked a little bit, or kind of mentioned, when that full course caution came out that they were not going to be able to make it. Leaders coming down pit road right now.
This is a make it or break it pit stop here. If you overspeed, you could get black flagged. If you have too long of a pit stop, you better hope that pit crew is on that wall and ready to go and throw all 4 tires on, 5 lug nuts, get the fuel in it, and get off of here as fast as you can without getting a black flag or getting passed on pit road. That's the worst spot to get past, is pit road, because it's hard to make it back up once you lose it. And all 3 of them are pitting first, second, and third stalls. So these guys are all going to be watching each other as they're waiting to see who comes out first.
Yeah, actually, first through 9th in the running order.
Gaiman.
Yep, Gaiman. He's going to go ahead and lead the 74 off. But first through ninth, actually first through 10th, going back to Donald Ray, in that running order, all came down pit road. You can't say together because of the gap, but yeah, everybody came down pit road that time.
Gaiman just gained 5/10 in pit road over Estes, and Brial actually gained 5/10 closer to Estes. Estes had a really horrible stop there, or pit road sequence. That was a 14.6 pit stop, almost a 35-second pit road time frame. So that was a pretty slow roll through there, and it looked like he made up a little bit of time in the pit sections there, but time doesn't lie. So I don't know where he lost it. It had to be with the pit crew. I mean, 5/10 compared to Gaiman running a 14.1 in his pit stall, Brault getting a 14.1, Estes hit a 14.6, and Blankenship back there in fourth hit a 13.9. So that's 7/10 faster than Estes, and that brings him still 23 seconds back, but 7/10 is a huge jump on pit road.
Oh yeah, I mean, anytime you can gain big or even little amounts of time on pit road, it's amplified by time on track. They used to say that 1 second on pit road was equal to about 300 feet on track, and there you go. Talking about 300 feet, Swats. That's the length of a football field. So we're talking about the length of what's Dallas Cowboys stadium. What do they call that? That's not the Mercedes Dome. What is it? I forget. But yeah,
it's the no Super Bowl dome.
It's what?
I think it's the no Super Bowl dome.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. It's got a nice little side by side battle here.
Let me make that correction. Super Bowls and BCS games are held there, but not with Dallas actually playing in those games. But yeah, I think I don't know, dude. This 300 foot. I mean, that's a huge bit of time for Gaiman there. That's 5/10 he gained on top of what he had going in. So now he's at. We said 7/10 is what he was bringing it down to, or Estes was, and then he would go back up to a second 1.2. Now it's down to about a second and a half, up to 3 seconds. So there's the timing difference between Gaiman being able to gain the 5 seconds in his pit stall, then also leaving pit road first and getting up to speed faster than Estes did, and there's your 3 second gap. So now it's 2.5, 2 seconds. I'm trying to watch it as it's going down here. 1.8 was low right there. We'll really be able to tell going into that sharp corner coming up what it comes down to. But breaking out the speed, it's up to 3.5, so 3.5 seconds. As they go into that really hard breaking point, he brings it all the way back down to 1.2.
Yeah, it looks like something just happened a little bit further back between Cody Meadows, Thomas Andrews, and Byron Jones. Kind of go back, take a look. As soon as this will play for me. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Here we go. So you see the 88 up there. You see the 31. You see the 29 going up the hill into turn 1. 88 little wide. 31 underneath. You see the 29 go ahead and loop it around right behind them. But he didn't hit anything. Able to keep it going. Not quite sure why I got a red flag, as if there was a wreck like what we'd see at an oval. But we'll go ahead and bring it back live time with our leader Joshua Gaiman, and I mean Kurt, he's starting to check out.
Yeah, that section there that you're talking about, it counts if they go off road, and if they hit that yellow snapping turtle is what I'm calling the thing. I think it's marking it as a crash in SDK. So that's how hard that thing is, though. When they're hitting it and it's launching them up in the air, it's counting it as a crash. So that yellow little, I don't even know what to call it, pyramid sitting on the ground and on the turns here. It's not something small. I mean, it's a pretty significant hit.
Yeah, it's got to be. I'm getting like again, Thomas Andrews, Ryan Pinnell, Donald Ray. It says that they just crashed, but it's actually not happening. So it's throwing all my racing spidey senses for a loop, Swats. It's kind of no fun. But these guys, they're having all the fun out there. 7 laps remaining here from COTA in the Midwest Series Saturday Night Showdown. Again, also sponsored by Chicks and Honey Homestead. If you want to know more about ARCS or ARCS Racing, go on to Twitter to ARCS_Racing. Give them a follow. Send them a message. This is their 5th race of the season. And these guys, Swats, they race all the way to November. Very, very long season. A lot of racing ahead. Every single track. Once, maybe twice. And, man, the championship points at the end of this are going to be huge.
Yeah. Actually, I was gonna make a comment about the spider tingle or sensation or whatever you had there, but Marissa Tomei actually renamed it in the new Spider-Man movies, and it actually works perfect for you because your name is Pete.
Uh-oh.
It's actually called the Peter Tingle.
Are you kidding? Why not?
Peter Parker, Marissa Tomei is now Aunt May in the Spider-Man movies, and she renamed it from the Spider Sense to Peter Tingle. So, repeat. Now you have a Peter Tingle.
That just doesn't even sound right.
Oh, the wife just said the exact same thing right at the exact same time.
It does not even sound right. Oh my god! That's like watching the Transformers movie, and the mom and dad break into the room, and they're like, "What are you doing? We heard noise, we saw a light, and blah blah blah." And she asks him, "Were you masturbating?" And she goes, well, we don't have to call it that. We can call it your personal time or what time. Your special time. Oh, now it's the Peter Tingle. So
yeah, I don't think I'm going to let that one go either, Pete. So we might be talking about that tomorrow night. If you happen to bring up something, I'm like, you're Peter Tingle.
Oh God,
you got the Peter Tingle going on. You figured out something on track.
I think Peter Tingle has to end up in a curse jar because should not be. I actually just bit my tongue saying that. Ow.
So now your tongue's tingling.
Not so much.
But yeah, back up front though, Gaiman, he stretched it out 2.5 seconds over Toby Estes as they go into that sharp corner again. We'll see Toby Estes brings it down to 0.8 now. So Estes is making up a little bit of ground, but not a whole lot as we have 5 laps to go or 6 laps to go now. I don't know, Pete. I don't know if any of them can catch Gaiman. He's running a little bit faster lap times than Estes is. Brielle is the only one that's run faster than Gaiman. That last lap was a 2:18.134 for Brielle. It was a 2:18.214 for Gaiman, and Estes ran a 2:18.278. So not a whole lot of difference in the times, but a 10th here, a 10th there. It does make a difference, but you're not going to make up. Brielle, it's a 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds back. You're not going to make it up in 5 laps, making up a 10th here and a 10th there.
No, but I tell you what, their last time around, complete lap time, 2:18.2, 2:18.2 between Gaiman and Estes, and Brielle with a 2:18.1. So, man, a 10th at a huge track like this, like you said, probably not gonna make that much of a difference with now 6 laps. If you're only gonna make up 6/10, then again, Swats, these some of these straightaways you might also be able to get a little bit of a draft. Maybe I really don't know, but first through third, they've been aggressive all night. These guys have been the most on that loud pedal. And really no big issues. So we might be looking at our top 3 with Blankenship 4th, Sears in 5th to round out your top 5. Meadows in 6th, Kent in 7th, Jones in 8th, Painter in 9th, and Feemster sitting back here in 10th. And you know what? I don't think we've really shown much love to Kevin Feemster tonight. Let's go on back, take a look at his ride. In this number 2 Sugarland's Ford F-150. It's a nice looking truck.
Yeah, I'm looking at his lap times. He's running 2:21.5 is his best lap. He just ran a 2:21.6. So he's hovering right around his best lap times every single lap. And I mean, that puts him, for a lap time, that puts him right around exactly where he's at. So, I mean, he's doing what he can with what he's got. He's trying to make up a little bit of time here and there. Painter has a slower best lap and last lap than Feemster, and he's only about a second out in front of Painter. So, or out in front of Feemster. So he might be able to catch him before the end of the race here, but. I mean, bringing home 10th, 9th, I don't see a problem with that. I think that's a great overall night. So, good job on him coming out here. I don't know if he's a full-time iRacer or, if he's got a ton of skill on road courses. But I mean, 22 trucks on track tonight. Track that's got 20 turns, and you bring it home, 10th. I don't see that as a bad thing. I see that as a win-win to make it out of here in the top 10.
Absolutely. I actually just recycled my running order on the scoring pylon because I didn't think it was right. Looking past Byron Jones in P number 8 in that number 29 Patriot Esports machine, I'm looking at Painter here, and it's showing 110. I'm like, that's okay, what? And then it finally dawned on me, not really used to running
that's behind the leader.
Right. I'm not
2.5 minute lap time. So.
Right. I'm not used to these very, very large tracks. As we watched the 2 go for a little bit of a slide, able to save it though, but the 5 is going to go ahead and capitalize. That's going to be Donald Ray. You talked about him a little bit ago. He's going to take over P10, putting Kevin Feemster back to P11. But again, overall great save for that 2. Only lost 1 spot in that slide. Didn't collect anybody. Didn't get any damage to that Ford F-150 either. He's going to be able to continue. Back up top, though, Gaiman now with a clear, very, very clear 2-second gap over Toby Estes. He's getting through, clear the corner before Toby even gets into, or before Toby even slows down to get into that corner.
Yeah, the front 3, I think those positions are pretty much locked up here. I don't think anything's going to change up here unless somebody makes just a horrible mistake that they have not made all night. These 3 up here have just been... I mean, it's almost, it's hard to even watch for me because I don't think I could run 29 laps on this track at half speed and not make a mistake. So full speed on this track with these guys pushing each other, the switches that they made, going through the braking zones and locking up the tires and sliding in front of each other and all that stuff that's been going on. And you haven't seen a single one of them loop it. You haven't seen a single one of them really, go off track completely. Nothing. So, I mean, the 78 and the 74 did make a little contact at one turn there where I did say the 78 brake checked really late and slid it through the corner and kind of used the 74 a little bit. But other than that, these 3 have been really, really clean driving next to each other. I mean, 29 laps at COTA. Full speed like this, going from 165 down to 40, it's amazing to watch.
Yeah, absolutely is. And another thing I was just noticing, Swats, going and looking at the running order and the spots gained and lost. There's only one guy out here that has really gained a ton of spots, and that's actually the 14 of Tom Sears right here in this RaceArcs.com Toyota Tundra. He's up 12 spots. All right, Joshua Gaiman, he's only up 1 spot, so he started P2. Toby Estes, he started in P3. He's up to P2. Jeremy Briault, he started on pole. He's back 2 spots. Jacob Blankenship started in P6. He's up to P4. He's only gained 2 spots. Cody Meadows, he's back 2 spots. Byron Jones, he's up 3. I mean, the entire field looks very, very similar to that. So you got Tom Sears up 12 spots. The next biggest mover is Tommy Withers in this number 6 X-Side machine. Back in P15, he started P20, and Tom Andrews a little bit further back here. He started 21st. He's up to P16. The biggest, the one that's lost the most amount of spots, Andrew Jamalin in that number 65, a little bit further back. I think he's actually parked it for the night. So again, congratulations to Tom Sears for being up 12 spots on the night overall. Clearly the biggest positive mover.
Yeah, normally we see Tom doing that on, the 1.5 miles, the short tracks, the super speedways. And he I think he purposely starts in the back just to avoid some of the, maybe the, crashes or some of the incidents that go on, and just tries to watch to see how the track unfolds in front of him to make his moves. But doing it on a road course is insane, because there's a ton of track to make up if you want to go from 17th all the way to where he's at in 5th. And to get to first from 17th, I mean, that would be an incredible feat. Ooh, the 12 just gave a hard block to the leader of Gaiman as he came right up on him. It slowed him down, actually, a lot. So we'll see if Estes is able to really capitalize on that or not. But, yeah, the 12 definitely gave a huge block to the leader. I'm not sure who that is, actually. It's Ryan Pinnell.
Yep. Let's see, coming up this long hill, starting with, it's going to bring us, I can't talk again, down to 2 laps to go, Swats. Again, big thank you to everybody out there in chat. Definitely appreciate just about all 20 of you. Again, I am Repeat, joined alongside the great KS Gaming 51, or Kurt Swatsworth, here every single week for this ARCS Midwest Barbecue Saturday Night Showdown Truck Series. COTA has been fun. Working lap 27, 2 laps to go as you watch this 88, and man, Swats, you watch his hands inside that truck as he's trying to navigate these turns. It just, again, shows how hard these guys are having to work in order to get around this track as fast as they can.
Yeah, and actually the point standing is going to take a big hit tonight. I don't see James Kerr in the field, so he's 3rd in points right now, only 3 points back from number 1, and that's Tommy Withers. And, I mean, he's back. Where's Withers at right now? I think we showed him in 15th. Yep. James Kerr not on track. Tristan Catania back in 19th. Matt Kent, he's sitting 8th, so he's going to have a decent night tonight. He's sitting 5 points off the leader of Tommy Withers, so he actually might take over the lead tonight. Ryan Pinnell sitting 5th right now in points. He's back in 14th. Cody Meadows, he's sitting 6th right now in the points and sitting 6th on the track, so he's going to have a big jump. He's 90 points right now, so he's 35 points back from the lead. So this is going to help him cut into that lead and bring him closer to the top 4 or top 5. Tom Sears sitting 7th, sitting 5th in the race. He's going to have a big night in points. He's also sitting 36 points back, so he's going to have a big night. Andrew Mullen's going to fall off. Dylan McDonald not having a good night. Donald Ray sitting 10th, so kind of mid-level night, but he's sitting 46 points back from the leader. So a lot of point changes going to be in that top 10.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out when it's all said and done. I mean, Joshua Gaiman, I think he's got this on lock, Kurt, unless something happens. But these two right here, Jacob Blankenship and Tom Sears in this 85 and 14 battle, they're absolutely getting after it. Cody Meadows a little bit further back in that 88. Again, still wheeling and dealing that Menards machine with the 29 of Byron Jones, right on that tailgate. Behind them, it's going to be Matt Kent in that PepsiCo machine. We were talking earlier about that number 24 that he seemed really slow. That's going to be Tom Andrews in this Exalta Silverado. He is, I believe, at least 1 lap down. Yeah, he is actually the 4th truck, 1 lap down. If a caution was to come out, the 6 of Withers, believe it or not, that is running in P14. He is the first track, 1 lap down, catching up with him right now. Again, in that beautiful X side, number 6, Mark Martin or Burton throwback.
Yeah, the 61 of Gaming, though, is coming down this long straightaway, going to do that hard left and then go through that odd shape 2 that I was talking about, and then go around the big carousel. And from there, he's only got 2 turns left to finish this thing off as we are on that last lap heat. They are flying through here. Estes is giving it all he could do to catch Gaming, but it's just going to be a little bit short tonight. Brial also led a lot of laps. Going to fall a little short, finishing top 3. So those are going to be our top 3 podium drivers unless something really bad happens in these last 3 turns.
Oh yeah, because it's several seconds back. In fact, something must have happened with Jeremy because now he's over 12 seconds back. So I'm gonna guess he looped it.
I think he just let it go and just slowed down. I don't think he's really been pushing it.
I wonder if
he's got a 12-second gap on Blankenship, so I think he's just taking it easy.
I was gonna say, I wonder if maybe, yeah. I mean, he could be looking, big picture and just saying, you know what, I've got third on lock, no real need to push it. Where Joshua Gaiman, I mean, he's still got Toby Estes 2.2 seconds behind. He can't exactly, or he couldn't, take it easy that last lap. As you see him come across the start stripe, Joshua Gaiman's going to go ahead and win COTA tonight in the ARCS Truck Series Saturday Night Showdown. Big congrats to him. Toby Estes in P number 2, 74 Brialt P3, Blankenship P4, Tommy Sears in P5, Meadows P6, Byron Jones brings it home P7, P8 is going to be Kent, Dustin Painter in 9th, and Feemster in that number 2 brings it home P10.
Yeah, Gaiman, Pennsylvania boy, so I'm going to have to ask him where he's from in Pennsylvania. But Estes from the Mid-South, and then Jeremy Brialt coming in New England. So I wonder if he's a Massachusetts guy or could be, I guess, Maine, technically, New England, Vermont, New Hampshire, any one of those. So, but yeah, a great race by these 3. I kind of wish Meadows would have been able to get up there. He did make it up to 6th. He was back there in about 9th when we were talking about him earlier, and I said he could probably get to 5th if he really pushed it, but coming up 1 spot short of where I was said, and he comes up in 6th. Yeah, him, Gaiman, Estes, and Brial, I mean, that was the show at the beginning of the race. Those 4 just kind of pulled away from everybody. Blankenship hung in there for a little while until he looped it right before the stage break. But those 4 were battling out hard. They were bumper to bumper. Any one of them could have, overcooked the tires or the brakes into a corner, late break, and really slid into all of them. And 4th place could have taken out all 3 top spots, including themselves in one corner, which would have been, terrifying for those 4. But probably would have helped the rest of the field because those 4, I mean, they completely separated themselves. I think it was 19 seconds back to the next car, and then it was 30 and then 40 and then a minute and then lap down cars. So it's pretty big feat for those 3 to do that.
Absolutely. I tell you what, I'm not sure if in the beginning of the race or the first half of the race, whichever, I might have to go back and watch the stream. When I was watching an 88 Menards Slim Jim Toyota really wheel their way around this track, or if I was watching the guy that finished just a little bit further back, talking about the 6 of Cody Meadows. But tonight, as the 66, he's going to go ahead and bring it down into that Whataburger zone and absolutely light him up, Swats.
I think that was Meadows that we were looking at earlier, but he was wheeling the heck out of that car. And I mean, Gaiman was right there too with Brialt. That's what I'm saying. Like, those 4 were just so close in skill for most of this race. Until the later part of this race, they were all like, I mean, it was nose to bumper, just right there on top of each other. Any one of them could have made a slight mistake, and it would have been, really bad for all 4 of them. But I mean, they made it through there clean. Like I said, the only time I ever even seen contact was, I think, Estes and Brialt made some contact through, I want to say it's turn 12, that very hard, sharp left after the very long straightaway on the back before you go through that odd shape 2 and then the big carousel. So that's the only time I really seen them make contact. I mean, I saw them give little bumps to each other, the front bumper to the back bumper, to try to nudge them through a corner. But other than that, I never really saw anything. So, I mean, great clean racing by those 4 drivers. Unfortunately, like we said, Meadows falls back to 6th. Did loop it, though, and still came back to 6th. So, that's a pretty huge feat as well.
Yeah, now bringing up the total results for everybody again, covering that Joshua Game and Toyota, an absolutely great race. Jeremy Brialt P number 2, Toby Estes P3, Donald Ray, Tom Sears, Seth Wansing, Cody Meadows, Jacob Blankenship, Byron Jones, and Matt Kent. Actually, not. I don't think that is right. Scratch that. Let's go ahead and fix that for us. There we go. Gaiman, Estes, Briel, Blankenship, Sears, Meadows, Jones, Kent, Wansing, Dustin Painter round out your top 10. Feemster, McDonald, Donald Ray, Tommy Withers, Ryan Pinnell, Thomas Andrews, Jonathan Hohenbrink, Daniel Maddox. That's clear through to P18. P19, Andrew Jamal and Tristan Catania. Ben Choate and Briley Wright is going to round out your top, going to round out your 22 truck field again for this ARCS Saturday night truck series race from COTA. Swats on to Martinsville tomorrow night. But boy, these guys got a very, very long season ahead. Looking at the schedule for these guys, coming back.
Michigan.
Yep, absolutely. Michigan International Speedway. Nope, I take that back. It's actually going to be Chicagoland Speedway on April the 2nd. So from a very, very long 20-turn track to Chicagoland, which is no longer actually part of the schedule. I was actually kind of sad to see that go.
Yeah, I am too. I'm not a big fan of it. I think it's a bad move, but I mean, NASCAR's made a few moves in the last couple of years that I have not been too thrilled about. I have no say in it, so I just watch.
There you go. All right, guys and gals, we are going to be right back with our top 3. Again, I'm going to bring up your running order, or your finishing order, I should say, one more time, so you can check out where your favorite driver stood, and we will be right back with our top 3 live in the booth. Stand by. All right, ladies and gents, thanks for sticking with us. And now time for the Smeal Racing Designs podium. In third, Jeremy Briel in that number 74 Blue Oval Ford F-150. Swats, I think you got him, buddy.
Mr. Briel, you got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, bud, I'm looking at your Discord picture, and it's Boris Said as your Discord picture, and you definitely look like a master road course driver out here tonight, leading the first 6 laps, then getting passed by Gaiman before the stage break, led some more laps after the stage break, and then Gaiman was able to get by you. But I mean, you were one of the fastest on track, all 3 of you guys up front. Actually, I'll say the top 5 for the first half of the race there, with Meadows and Blankenship all being right there with you, Gaiman and Estes. what could you have done differently, I guess? I know SD slid it into, I think it was turn 12 or 13 out of these 20 turns, whatever it was, and gave you a little bit of tap to that left front as he went into the corner, kind of used you up as a breaking point. But was there anything else you could have done to maybe make up some time on game? And he looked to be really clean, knew where the line was. He kind of looked like he was running the line you were running the first half of the race. So, I mean, anything you could have done differently?
Yeah, me and him just talked. He was telling me that I was using the wrong gears in the corners, so I was using first gear, which it was fast, but it just wore out the tires. So that's why I would get a bit away on the starts and restarts, and he would just gain on me on the at the end of the runs. But kind of sucks I didn't get a caution there, because that would have kind of saved that run. But oh well. So I guess third's third.
I mean, it does help you with the points. I know you're a little further down in the standings right now. I think either did you miss a few races or something?
I got penalized at Daytona,
yeah.
and I missed Auto Club. So yeah, technically I missed the first 2 races then.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, yeah, I had pointed out to Pete that I was wondering if your tires had started fading towards a longer run, because I mean, you were just flying on this track. Even qualifying in practice, you were setting the fastest laps out there. Even once SD's got past you and Gaming got past you, you were still running faster lap times. You just weren't able to get to them to make, the move to get around them. And then obviously, like I said, in the later run, it just seemed where you kind of fell off there. So I was wondering if tires were really going to play into this. I know watching McDonald's 12-hour run last night, and their car is obviously a lot lighter of a car and a lot wider of a car. Their tire fall off wasn't as bad in their runs, but these trucks, I mean, you guys were really whipping them. We were watching some of the angles coming off the corners, and your truck, it wasn't necessarily sideways, but you were definitely throwing that rear end out there to try to really get it to whip around the corners. I think Boris would have been really proud to see you whipping around these corners at COTA. Great race tonight, bringing home third. I wouldn't be, too down on yourself about it. I mean, like I said, you, Estes and Gaiman, Meadows, you guys were really above the class of the rest of the field at this road course. And I'm kind of excited to see when you guys go to another road course, and I believe it's Lime Rock. I think it's the next road course, if I'm not mistaken here, looking at the schedule. So I think that'll be pretty cool to see where you guys end up, you three end up at the next road course.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to it. These are my strong suits. All these tracks usually are, except for this one for some reason. I just don't like this track, but
I mean, you were flying. Yeah. I wouldn't take it away as saying you're not very good at this track, because you were setting the faster laps. I mean, you got the pole too, so I mean, you were flying on this track. 217s, almost hitting 216s. You're flying.
Yeah. It's I looked up earlier. It was somewhat closer to like actual like lap times they were in the real race today. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was watching the race today, and you're not far off of those lap times. So yeah, you were flying.
Yeah, but those other guys were definitely way better than me tonight. So they deserve their spots. So congratulations to those 2 guys.
Any shout outs for you, bud?
Yeah, I gotta thank Smule Racing Designs. He and his wife always come up with great designs for my trucks, my cars, everything that I run. So thanks to them. Thanks to Midwest Barbecue, the series sponsor. They personally sponsor my truck and my cup car, so that's pretty cool. And I got to thank W Energy. They're coming on board sometime this year. I don't know what race we've decided we're going to put them on, but use code Smule Racing Designs to get 10% off your first order on W Energy.
I definitely pointed out that paint scheme earlier to P. I definitely like the way that paint scheme's set up. So pretty cool. So good job on them on creating that paint scheme for you.
Yeah, they're definitely the best. So yeah, go out and look out for Smule Racing Designs on Facebook.
All right. Well, good luck next week. Headed to Chicagoland. Should be interesting. So good luck on the rest of the season, and hopefully we'll see you up here in the top 3 again not too long.
Alrighty, thank you.
Back to you, Pete.
All right, buddy. Definitely appreciate it. Bringing in the driver 78 in that Toyota Tundra, Toby Estes, P number 2. up one spot from where you qualified. One hell of a race. As Swats was just saying to Jeremy, there were just like three or four of you that were the class of the field all night long around this 20-course road course. 20-turn road course sitting in the flatlands of Texas. Hell of a race. What more could you have done, or what more were you trying to get out of that truck to get up there behind Gaiman?
Well, I mean, you got to be consistent at this course. It's the main thing. Not smoking the rear tires, that was my main objective tonight. I mean, honestly, Josh had one hell of a race.
Mm-hmm.
He was just consistent. I mean, there wasn't a flaw one that I honestly seen, and Jeremy had a hell of a race. He was so hard to get around, and he was consistent as well.
I mean, that was a great race. Whether it was before that one stage caution or after it, you guys were clearly, the like I just said. There's no other way to put it than the class of the field. It was a great battle. Anytime I went through the field, bringing it back, there the three or four of you were. What do you expect out of Chicago next week for that number 78?
Just the same thing, man. With Chicago, I mean, you got to be consistent with the trucks, dude. You just got to be really conservative on the tires. I mean, they're such a blast.
Oh, yeah.
They really are.
Well, I can't wait to see how you do. I believe Chicagoland is an almost wide open kind of a race for this truck series. So we'll have to see. But man, congratulations on this P2. Any quick shout outs for you?
I mean, it's just finally good to put a whole race together. I've came close so much, and just made stupid mistakes. It just feels good to finally finish a race and get a good finishing spot.
Well, there you go. P number 2 on the Spiel Racing Designs podium. Congratulations one more time, Toby.
Thank you.
You got it. All right, Swats, we're going to go ahead and bring in our Spiel Racing Designs podium P1 winner. And I believe Joshua Gaiman's sitting with you.
Joshua, you got a copy, buddy?
I got you.
All right, but you, like we've been telling the other two that just came in here, you guys were the class of the field. You guys were flying. I was telling Brialt that you guys were running times that were very, very close to the actual real-life professional times at this track today in the Truck Series. I mean, you guys were making passes. You were switching it up on each other, crisscrossing each other. It was very entertaining up here. I kept clicking the exciting camera view, and it kept flipping to you guys up front with Meadows up there and Blankenship also up there at one point in the first half of the race. And, I mean, you guys were all nose to tail, all over each other. At one point, it looked like the three of you were just in sync like a train rolling through the corners. So great race overall. You bring it home tonight first. I think this is your first win of the season, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a big point night for a lot of people. I don't see, you and Estes up here in the top 10 in points. I think you guys have missed a few races, but Brialt jumps to first in points. I'm trying to find you on the list here.
Should be like 23rd, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking.
At the end of like 3 weeks in a row, so it's been rough.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not actually seeing you anywhere on the list, so something's up.
That's
but
about
yeah,
how I feel about it.
But yeah, I mean, great race overall. I don't know how you guys were pulling off the stuff. I mean, 165 for a max speed down the straightaway, down to 40 into the corner, whipping that truck sideways or almost sideways. I mean, really throwing that tail out to the wind, and just being able to overcorrect and go right into the next corner and get it to just go exactly where you guys wanted to, straightening out some of these S turns to where you didn't have to put a lot of wheel into it, carrying so much momentum through the corners. I just unbelievable to watch you three at the end of this race really go through these corners. You and Estes were getting closer. Estes was coming up on you, but You're able to stretch it out on him about 2.5 seconds. The pit stops is what really looked like it helped you a lot. Really didn't help Estes. He lost about 5/10 on that final pit stop. Pit crews, I guess, weren't really helpful for Estes tonight, but you ran you got a 14.1 on that last pit stop. He got a 14.6. So you coming out, it definitely gave you a bigger gap. You had about a 7/10 lead going into the pit stops, and you came out with almost 3 seconds overall on the longer straightaways there. So great race. I mean, could you have done anything better, or I mean, what was your perspective in the car? Were you nervous? I mean, like I said, I think this is your first win of the season, so getting your first win under your belt, what were your overall feelings and reactions to this race?
I definitely wasn't expecting to win or be fast in any way. During practice, I've been running the C Fixed official series on iRacing throughout the week, and seeing how fast some guys in there are going. And I mean, they're 2.5 seconds faster than even I was going. So I was like, ooh man, I'm gonna be mid pack at best, and showing up and being able to go faster than I was even going in the C Fixed and running good times, and at least being consistent. That was what was most important, and figuring out what gears to run and everything. Definitely helped a lot. I could have probably been maybe a little bit more smooth on throttle application and stuff like that, but other than that, I'm glad I'm first.
Well, I just actually got the points refreshed. It actually jumps you, Brill, and Estes to 12, 13, and 15. Brill is 9 points ahead of you with 99. You have 90 now. Estes has 80. So you guys are moving up through the field, all three in the top 15. Long season. Going into the next race, Chicagoland. Then I think it's Darlington, and then we go back to another road course. It's Lime Rock. So I mean, is road course racing your style, or are you kind of all around where it's oval, short track, whatever it is? You're gonna come out here and run and be good. Just what's your perspective or driving skills, knowledge, whatever you want to call it, for these different tracks?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I'm like about 10 years ago, I owned a pro light truck, so I raced off road. I've never raced on a road course, and I've never raced on an asphalt oval in real life. So I mean, I have no real experience. So that's kind of where I gravitate, is like off road stuff and dirt oval racing, really. So yeah, coming out and winning a road course is pretty cool.
Well, there's been some pretty good drivers coming out of those Pro Light series. I'm pretty sure Jimmy Johnson started out there. Sheldon Creed started out there, is now up in Xfinity. Haley Deegan now in the truck series. So there's some benefit apparently to slipping and sliding in the mud and the dirt in those off-road trucks. Paid off tonight in the road course. What are you expecting to go into Chicago?
I definitely just need to start working on my consistency on ovals, and the biggest thing is staying away from the wrecks, because usually when we wreck in the trucks, it's 5 or more of us getting into it. So I just gotta put myself in the right spot at the right time.
Well, these tracks so far, Daytona, Auto Club, Las Vegas, Atlanta, these are all tracks that, you guys are all bunched together, really. Not a whole lot of separation, so that's where those 5-car pileups or bigger really stand out. Going to another track just like those, Chicago, almost, completely wide open around the corners. It's going to be, drafting, making passes here and there where you can, trying to, dive it down to the line in front of somebody and slide up in front of them. It's going to be similar. So these first 6 races, you got 5 that are pretty much pretty similar, and then you got the road course thrown in there. So you got the road course win, like you said, just got to be a little bit more averaged, I guess, for ovals, and you can bring it up through here. But I mean, being in the top 15 after the first 5 races, not a bad start to the season. Very long season, got a lot of tracks coming through here, a few more road courses coming up. So if road course racing is your style, I know Brialt said he's really good at road course racing. You guys got several very good tracks coming up. So looking forward to seeing what what you do in the next few races here before we go to the next road course, which Lime Rock, I mean, that's one of my favorite driving in the Miata and a couple other series. So Darlington, Talladega, Bristol, Martinsville, Chicago, those are some pretty tricky tracks in between there.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm just hoping to stay consistent and just do what I got to do.
All right. Well, congratulations on first place. Any shout outs for you, bud?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything personally going on at the moment, but you know, all that, the admins and you guys doing the broadcast and stuff, you know, just putting the whole show together. It's definitely a lot of fun. I've been enjoying my weekends.
Gotcha. Well, like I said, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you in the booth anytime soon here. Like I said, it's kind of a big track, Chicagoland, then 2 short tracks, Martinsville and Bristol, back to a giant super speedway at Talladega, and then to the tricky Darlington. You know, hopefully you don't get too many stripes on your truck, and then that odd road course of Lime Rock thrown in there. So, gonna be a crazy next 5-6 races, but we'll see where you end up out of the stretch in the points.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for sure.
All right. Well, back to you, Pete, as we close out.
All right, yep. Congrats from me as well, Mr. Guy. I tell you, Swats, one hell of a race. 20 turns, huge track in Texas, now in the books. Big congratulations again to our top 3, Joshua Gaiman, Toby Estes, and Jeremy Briault. Again, to round out your top 10, Jacob Blankenship, Tom Sears, Cody Meadows, Byron Jones, Matthew Kent, Seth Wansing, and Donald Ray. Absolutely getting it done. And big congrats to Jeremy Briault one more time on actually grabbing the Smeal Racing Designs podium for this track. Was not easy by any means, Swats. And again, big thank you to hold on one second, sorry, I apologize. My phone was going off, but no, okay. No, big thank you to our sponsors. Chicks and Honey, they're basically a page all about teaching people how to create a self-sufficient homestead. We were talking about them, throughout the race a couple of times. They're teaching how to turn raw land into self-sufficient property. Everything from solar, self-building your house, creating gardens, and raising your own animals to provide meat, dairy, goods to your family. And of course, Midwest Barbecue. I put the link out there in chat, MidwestBBQEquipment.com. And Swats, their slogan is put that in your smoker, or what was it? I was just on there. It's like put it in your pit and smoke it. There you go. So that is absolutely something that Joshua Gaiman did tonight. He had the rest of the field covered, and just completely smoked it up. Go on over, check them out. Again, for any kind of personal smoking equipment, Midwest BBQ Equipment, or equip.com. Link is there in the chat. Swats, Chicago next week.
Yeah, this schedule looks crazy, Pete. I'm looking at all the tracks here before we even get to the playoffs. We've got 3 more road courses. So these 3 or 4 guys that were super fast tonight, I mean, they've got Sonoma, they've got Watkins Glen. I mean, it's going to be kind of crazy. Lime Rock, and that's before the playoffs even start. And then the playoffs get even more crazy. You got a dirt track in the first round, the first race. Then we go to Kansas, Bristol, Windy City road course in Chicago, Talladega, Rockingham, Homestead. It's going to get crazy. You got 2 super speedways, 3 road courses, 4 short tracks, all mixed into the next 19 races.
Well, not to bypass or forget their All-Star race at Motegi. That's gonna be interesting as well.
This schedule looks nuts.
But
I'm glad I'm not driving.
I'm glad I'm not driving either. But Kurt, I'm glad on the other hand that you're here to rescue me and help me out tonight. Not one of my best broadcasts. Again, don't.
You're great even on your worst day.
Flattery will get you everywhere, I tell you. But no,
Sure does.
big big thank you to everybody that came out, hung out, chatted up, and kept me and SWAT's company. Mud 1999, Byron Jones, see you out there as well. Dale Jr. fan, Dale fan. Lock on Stratus, Mustang 9980. He was the one that was asking what the hardest race in the world was to win, and covered that for a little bit. We will see you all again next week from Chicagoland for this series. But as Swats mentioned earlier, tomorrow on KS Gaming 51, he's going to have the turn down for What Truck Series live from Martinsville. I'll be there in the booth with him as well. Until then, we will catch y'all later. Stay safe. Later, guys.